What it is, y'all, it is your old boy Pilk, and I'm coming back at you tonight with the Before You Summon on the Goblin Slayer banner. Before I get to this, I actually do want to say that, yes, very specifically, it says dropping tonight, not tomorrow night, like I initially thought. Everything was translated, and the dates were still in Japanese, so this will be dropping tonight at 9 p.m. So we will be streaming tonight, basically right when this drops. So do be aware of that. Now, when we're talking about the Goblin Slayer banner, I think this is, of the 3 banners we've gotten, the best one we've received. So when I was telling y'all, save some Iris, this is why I was saying that, okay? Let's get down to it and talk about each unit very specifically. First of all, starting with a mid, whose unit I need for reasons. And then there's her stats. Check out those stats, okay? So we have strength at 1040. We have endurance at 550. Now, also bear in mind, this is MLB'd and fully ascended. But, yeah, definitely still worth noting. Okay, Dex. Dex is 847. Agility is 946. And Magic is 1540. I said Magic, like it's down here. It's actually, like right there. 1540. Now, I am willing to bet you guys that if you really put some CP into her, you will probably have Dex and Magic into the triple S. But to have 4 double S stats on someone is outstanding. So she's already a really good unit, okay? Let's talk about what she does, okay? First skill is a fast. That means it's the first thing she's going to do. She's going to get faster than anybody else. Allies 20% HP heal, 20% HP regen. The heal is like instantaneous. So when you do it, she's instantly going to heal 20% health, and she's going to give you 20% HP regen at the end of each turn. So it's a really good stat. Okay? Strength and magic and dark damage plus 25%. So anybody that's got a strength stat, she increases 25 unless they already do a self-increase. Anybody that has magic, same. And anybody that has dark damage, the same. We've got some units that are really good, like supports, that maybe only give one of those to everyone, but doesn't really give one to themselves. That'll give them a little bit of something. Not crazy, not the end of the world, but a little more than they probably would have had before. And that's for 3 turns. Now, really, 3 turns is kind of silly anymore. If you're running anyone like Haruhime, anything more than just like 1 turn is well worthwhile. The turn count really doesn't mean a whole lot. It just means how quickly can you start doing replication of turns. So let's just check our expectation there. Yeah, the HP regen will be for 3 turns. HP regen is not 1 turn only, at least the way it's written here. So maybe I'm wrong on that one, but I think that's the way it's written. I believe that's the way this is written. I could be incorrect on that, but I want to say, based on what I see here. Now, so she'll do a heal, and at the end of the turn, she'll do an HP regen, and then for 3 turns, you should continue to have that HP regen. That's usually the way that works. It's rare that that's only 1 turn. So the Strength, Magic, and Dark Wall continue on their way, okay? Second skill, Foes. Now, this is a slow attack, which means it's probably one of the last things that anyone will get off. It does kind of negate her her dex a little bit, or I'm sorry, her AGL a little bit, but it's a thing. Slow, super dark magic attack with high uncounter rate, which means it's highly unlikely that your foes can counter her. With temporary magic boost, removes strength and magic debuffs on allies except assist skills. So basically, if you've, like, someone like Goblin Slayer comes out and starts debuffing your units, she'll remove the strength and magic debuffs. Now, she won't remove everything, just very specifically the strength and magic debuffs, but that's super handy. Super handy. And the fact that it has an attack on top of that ain't such a bad thing at all. Okay? Third skill is a foe singular. Okay? Beware that it is a foe singular. It will only attack 1 unit. Mid-dark magic attack with high on guard rate, which means units have a less of a chance of guarding the attack, with temporary magic boost and removes curse. And once again, as I said yesterday, I don't know how insanely useful that is, but you're going to be more or less using her for the first 2 skills. And those can be really useful skills, okay? Now, her passive is really interesting. On counter, she'll remove strength buffs. So that means somebody hits her, and she's like, bam, strength buff gone. She's not really going to attack back. She's just going to, like, cripple them, pretty much. So, a great support unit in all respects. Now, her SA does leave a little something to be desired. Her assist skill is Ultra Heal, which is never a bad thing, but Self SA gauge 100% and all allies SA gauge 33% for 3 turns. Now, if you're interested in that stat at all, you probably already have Priestess or Line or, you know, someone that already does that. And the SA gauge 100% isn't a bad thing, but do bear in mind, like, that's only going to do so much, and if you really are interested in that, there's a lot of other units that get that pretty much from the start of the game. So, her SA leaves a little something to be desired, in my opinion. Now, if you didn't pull Priestess or whatever, or you don't have a Line or whatever, maybe I could see some uses for it. But I'm going to be real, like, there's way better units out there in the SA department. Just my 2 cents on the matter. I could be underselling this a little bit, but I really just don't see that as a very end-of-the-world type situation. So, my 2 cents on that matter, okay? Definitely, if you disagree with me on the essay, if you disagree with me in any of this, feel free to comment in the comment section down below. It'd be a great discussion point, but I just kind of think it's lackluster. Let's move on to Ryu. Okay? Ryu, on the other hand, is insane. Okay? Now, strength and endurance are both kind of meh. That, which means she's not going to have a lot of sticking power there. She's going to take some damage if endurance really is that low. And notice that she's all the way up there. So, for example, not worried so much about strength with this unit because she does have that magic skill, but that endurance, 515 versus, if we go over here to Ryu, 491. Now, it doesn't seem like the end of the world. There's not that huge of a difference, but it will make a little bit of a difference in battle. It absolutely will. She'll take damage a lot faster. So, just do bear that in mind. Okay? Double S stats, though, on Dex, Agility, and a triple S stat on Magic. Look at that Magic stat. That is insane, y'all. Absolutely insane. Okay? Good stats all around the board there. And what's her HP look like? Her HP is 3663, and hers was 34. So, being that she'll take extra damage, it actually looks like they offset it with the HP there. So, not necessarily a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination. And once again, once you start putting some CP into them, they'll improve a little bit. Okay? Now, Ryu. First skill is a fast. Once again, fast means it's like one of the first things she does. If you want to know who's going to get theirs off first between Ryu and Amid, Amid is 946, Ryu is 965. So Ryu actually would beat her, even though she has a fast. Ryu would beat her out of the gate with her fast attack. Just saying. Fast. Foes. Basically, you can think of fast like turbocharging your agility stat, more or less. So fast. Foes, magic, and it. Not the 486 kind of turbocharging. The kind of turbocharging that actually is faster. I digress. Fast. Foes, magic, and agility, and magic resist minus 25%. So she basically, like, nerfs the agility of your opponent. So if she's really the first person out of the gate, you really want to give old girl, like, an assist that has a ton of agility. Because what you want is you want that before anything else. You really want her agility through the damn roof. Absolutely through the damn roof. So magic and agility and magic resist minus 25%. Okay? If you don't see why 25% agility would just cripple somebody, put her in war games and see what happens. Just saying. Okay? Self, magic agility, magic resist, plus 50% for 4 turns. Now, I've kind of done... That's the other thing to be aware of here. So, agility plus 50% on top of that stat. So the next few turns, she's just going to be a speedster out of the gate once again. Just saying. Now, I've dogged a little bit on magic resistance, or I'm sorry, magic and strength stats that are only 50% because we've had much better than that before. But hers actually isn't bad because of what we're going to get here in a minute, okay? Skill number 2, foes. Super dark magic attack. Notice it's not a slow. It's just a super dark magic attack with ultra penetration rate, temporary magic boost, and self-dark damage plus 50% for 3 turns. So she then does, obviously, the 50-50 thing. You have it in 2 different skills instead of 1 skill. Okay? There are bigger and better than that, but coupled with the stats she's got, it's more than enough. It really is more than enough. I think if you mathematically compare her to some of the other units that get, separate boosts, aside from like SAs and crazy boosts and things like that, she's definitely going to be worthwhile. So, bear that in mind, okay? So, dark damage plus 50% for 3 turns. So now she's got 50% dark, 50% magic. And obviously, once you get Haruhime's SA in there, you have 100% magic, 50% dark. So, then we get on to this. That's why I bring Haruhime up. Skill 3, foe singular. Now, this is a singular attack, not a multiple attack. This is a singular attack. High dark magic attack with ultra critical rate. For each AGL buff on herself, skill damage plus 40%. Now, that's only in that turn. That's not going to stay. I don't believe that has any kind of multiplier on it that stays. So if you really want to do max damage with her, you've got to do, like, you're running like Record Buster or something like that. With that said, though, skill 2 is still strong enough for something like War Games. So you got a really good character here that's going to do a lot for a lot of different versions of the game. And passive on counter removes your foe's magic, or foe singular magic buff. Basically, whoever hits her, they can count that magic buff out. So it really kind of, these 2 units, Ryu and Amid, they really punish people that rely on counters. And that's going to be crazy fun to watch go down when it comes to War Game. So with both of these units, Amid not so much, but it's going to need Amid for reasons. Ryu most definitely I'm going after hard. I need to MLB at least her. But neither one of those units would definitely be very bad at all. The nice part about a mid coupled with Ryu, if you're going like War Games level, basically anybody hits a mid and they can be counted out. Most people rely on a lot of strength for War Games. Now, we're starting to see more and more magic in War Games, but strength has kind of like always been kind of your key to getting King 1. These 2 units are really just kind of like basically take people for a ride. Basically, as soon as you get hit, boom, they're debuffed, and now you can go to town. It's just kind of... And, while it's not the end of the world, it does give people a lot of time to then have to buff and buff and buff. And, that wastes time. You're not producing damage at that point. You're basically crippling your opponent's ability to produce damage. So, an exceptional unit, probably one of the best we've seen thus far. Now, we're talking about her SA, because her SA is fantastic. It is a foes, plural, high dark magic attack with ultra on guard rate. Once again, they can't really guard it. For each agility buff on herself, she does skill damage plus 50%. Remember I said if you have Haruhime do her SA before her, Haruhime is going to give her 100% magic. She now, with this, gets 100% dark damage. You can pretty much do the math on how badly that's going to hurt an opponent. That is going to cripple people. And that's foes plural across the board. Get a Haruhime SA off, get this off, you will take you'll deal a crap ton of damage. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch her work in the near future. And if you don't think she's worth MLBing, I really don't know how much more I could say at this point. So let's move on to Sword Maiden. Okay? Sword Maiden is she's an assist, of course, okay? Her stats really aren't the craziest in the world, but, notice her dex is 503. Her AGL leaves a little something to be desired, but her dex is actually still amazing. Just absolutely amazing, okay? So, not bad stats, and of course, this is at max limit break, so, consider what you're going to consider with that. Now, Sword Maiden. Foes, plural, strength and magic and dark resist minus 15%. Now, one thing I criticized Chigusa for is for only being 10% on her stats. The fact that she's 50% on all stats, I absolutely love. Now, to be fair, she's strength, magic, and dark resist. Those, your main strength and magic and your skills are generally the biggest stats. So, if I'm honest to Chigusa, couple this unit with Chigusa, and you basically have like a full team, and I'm not even joking, a full team of assists in 2 units. So bear that in mind. And also giving Chigusa her, due credit. If we go back here and look at, let's just say Ryu, for example, her magic stat is off the board. Even if we go to a mid, a mid might have the best strength stat, but it's a really good strength stat. And her magic stat is really good too. Those are generally strength and magic are generally your 2 big stats. Crippling those by 15%. Oop, that's wrong slide. Crippling those by 15% is rather critical. Now the other 2, the other 4 skills in there, other 3 skills in there, the ones that Chigusa works off of, not as important. So having those down by 10% isn't the worst. But I may have over-exaggerated her because I wanted to see the 15%. So I'm willing to say Chigusa probably, especially when I'm now seeing what she does, Chigusa is most definitely going to be the next unit that I will be chasing hard and wailing for tonight when the new banner drops and after we're done summoning on this. Okay? So, worth noting. I know a lot of you screamed at me for that. I will absolutely 100% say with this unit now, I 100% see the value in Chigusa without question. But those 2 together are going to make an amazing team. You'd have a really hard time determining what other assists you're going to use with these 2 on your team because they just do like everything. Okay? And on top of Strength, Magic, and Dark minus 15% for your foes, allies also get Thunder damage plus 15%. So Dark and Thunder skills are both, one's debuffed for your foes, one's bolstered for your allies. So, great unit. The best thing you can do at that point is run like I was saying last night, Zombie Bell, who does 50, or I think he does 10% because he's free to play. I think he does 10% extra damage for darks. So you drop your dark resist, increase your dark damage. From that exact same event, the Riveria, who does thunder damage. She reduces thunder resistance. She'll increase thunder damage. Congratulations, you just built a badass team. I don't know what to tell y'all. Also, do bear in mind, before you get too crazy on this banner, if you manage to pull just like an insane amount of things and you just want to bow out early, we are getting a heroic trial. Now, you'll only get a chance to choose one. A mid, Ryu, and Sword Maiden will both be in there, but you'll only be able to choose one of the 3. So do bear that in mind before you get too crazy chasing units. So this will also drop tonight, and we'll talk about that in its own separate video once we get all the stats on it and once I can figure out how to S-clear it. But yeah, that's the video, guys. Let me know what y'all thought in the comments section down below. I just wanted to bring this information to you because I think it's absolutely critical to know what to do this evening, because it's just a really great banner. And we'll go back and we'll revisit Chigusa and Sword Maiden. Hopefully, if I'm able to MLB one of them, not both of them. So, fingers crossed on that. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Follow my Birdman. Hit me up on Booker. I'll see y'all shortly.